Hello, welcome to our Why Wednesday. You are in the True North Home Care office. This is it for now, but it's just that. This is like the main corner. This is where everything happens. And I've got a ring light here, so trust me, lighting usually isn't this good. But the whole reason I'm doing this video is to show you or talk to you more about why True North, why I wanted to start this company, why I care so much about home care, and hopefully in a few weekly portions you'll get to know more about True North and what motivates us. So I was a nurse. I am a nurse. I was a hospice nurse for about 3 years, like 2.5-ish, I think. Before that, I've always worked in geriatrics, and I actually remember when I was in nursing school at Metro Community College, I asked one of my instructors, like, does it mean I don't have good skills if I only want to work with geriatrics? Because I didn't want to do any of the like fun, exciting things. Like I didn't want to do any of those. I just knew I wanted to work with seniors. I figured I would get a job in a nursing home. I thought that's really where I would end up. And I did that for a while, or for a short while. I did assisted living probably the longest. I loved assisted living. I did home health. I was a home health nurse. I did a lot of transplants. But I really, majority of what I did was work with seniors. I did work with some young adults. Rarely I worked with children. That was never really what I wanted to do. But seniors have always had this special kind of place in my heart, and that's always what I wanted to. Once I knew I wanted to be a nurse, I knew that's the kind of nurse I wanted to be. So I was working as a hospice nurse, and I was just seeing some, I'm going to turn my music down a little bit. There's like therapy offices around here, and I don't want you guys to hear anyone's therapy session, so I have some background music going. But I was working as a hospice nurse, and I loved it. I think that was my gift. I think being a hospice nurse is really what I was meant to do, or at least that's what I felt like. I love doing it. I miss it every day. I miss being a hospice nurse. But I was running into this pattern of seeing home care, and it just felt it felt like the Wild West. It really did. It felt like there was no regulation. There were no rules. Rarely were the people that were training these caregivers nurses or had any healthcare background, which is fine. That I don't mean that if you don't have those things, you're not qualified or you're not good. I felt like there needed to be some standard, like a license or some regulations or some rules or some basic, like bare minimum things. Because as it stands right now in Nebraska, basically anyone who wants to can start a home care company. Private duty, like you don't need a license for it, so anyone can do it. I don't really agree with that. But I also don't think that our only option should be to get a home health license, but that's a whole nother option, or it's a whole nother conversation. We'll get to that later. But what happened was I was working as a hospice nurse, and I saw a few examples of just caregivers who didn't seem to care, and they didn't seem to know what their duties were when someone was on hospice or understand the gravity of that. So it was kind of just bothered me. We had a lot of clients, well, not a lot, but we had a few that ended up needing, nurses to do continuous care because either their pain was having trouble getting managed or whatever the reason was. And I just thought, wow, home care really could have helped in like a lot of these situations. I also saw the price of home care going up, like skyrocketing. I don't blame these companies. I mean, when it was really hard to find caregivers, you were paying a lot of money for caregivers that these companies weren't paying 5 years ago. So I understood those changes. And then those were all just kind of like, preliminary things that I noticed. And then the opportunity was presented to me to do it. Like, here, figure it out. You can do this. So I did. And that's how this kind of started. But the goal has always been, I just want to make home care better. And I know that that's not just by having one good home care company. Like, I can be the best home care company that I can be. That's not enough. Like, I have to work together with other great owners, other great home care companies, and set the standards so that the companies who aren't in it for the right reasons, they're going to fall below. People are going to notice. They're going to lose their clients. They're going to lose their support because the companies that are doing it for the right reasons are going to succeed. And the bare minimum of actually caring for what you do and not leaving clients hanging. And there's two sides to every story, but there was just a lot of times where I felt like the motivation for the company was 100%, or at least heavily money, which I get. It's a business. I understand that, but you're not going to change the fact that I'm a nurse. And at the end of the day, I want people to be taken care of. And I don't want people to be forced to go to nursing homes if they have the means to stay home, and if it's safe. And I think there's a lot of education we can do to help that happen. So my biggest why is I want people to be able to age at home. I want them to be able to have a say in what their care is. Whether that's like, I want to be up at 6 a.m. or I don't want to be up until 11 a.m. Don't bother me. And I don't want anyone to wake me up or talk to me or touch me until then. I think that should be a normal thing, and it shouldn't depend on staffing. And even the best facilities that I've worked at and the best facilities I've experienced from my clients or my hospice clients or whatever that might be, when you're dealing with staffing in a big facility, it is really hard to give everyone that individuality. Yes, you do. Like, we all say we do, but it's really hard to make that happen when you're short on staff. In home care, you're one-on-one, and it's really just you and that person, and they cater to you 100%. There's no one else they have to go check on. Like, when they are with you, it is just you. And I think that for the money that people pay for home care, that's what they deserve. And they don't deserve someone to be sitting there like messing on their phones. I know we all seem like we can't go 5 minutes without it, but I just wanted to set that standard and really teach this new generation of caregivers how important their job is, and maybe inspire some people to go into nursing. I really love taking hospice clients. That's my favorite thing, because the look on faces of caregivers when I talk about hospice is just like deer in the headlights, like, oh, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. And then when we teach them about it, I'm 5 for 5 of caregivers who were absolutely like, I don't want to do hospice. And then I really encouraged them, and they took a chance on it, and they ended up falling in love with the client. They loved the experience. Of course, they were sad when the client passed away, but like, they learned why hospice is amazing. I also have this added benefit that I get to see clients before they go on hospice and like be the one that says, maybe look into this. Like, maybe call some companies and see if you would be, if hospice is the right thing for you, because so many people don't even know what it is. People don't know what home care is. There's just so much confusion, and the only way to beat that is by people like me and people in the industries being vocal and explaining and teaching, because it's not the doctors. The doctors aren't going to do it. Doctors are not going to go out of their way to educate you on the difference between home health, hospice, home care, what the benefits are. No one, they're not going to do that. Very few of them will. And I don't blame them. That's not their job. But I feel like that's something that we can do. And I hope that True North Home Care lives up to that expectation I have of being the best, and not in a competitive, like we're making the most money way, but in the best standards. People feel loved and valued when there are clients. And I get these letters from families, and it's like, it means so much, because this was a year ago, a year and a half ago. This was just like a conversation. It was barely an idea. And a year later, just how many lives that we've been able to touch has been amazing. And we just want to keep doing that. So that's my why. One question that I always get asked, and I'm going to save it for the next video, is what's with the logo? What's with the name? Why True North Home Care? So if you like this, please like and follow our page. And in our next video, I will explain why True North is the name and how I got to the logo. Thank you for watching our Why Wednesday, and have a great day.